go.
All right. So we're using canisters. This essentially replaces the canister. So you're going to start your day with an empty rover.
This is for endoscopy.
Yeah, correct. And it's the same actually for the main OR. So your empty rover will start the day, and then a manifold is patient by patient. So on the right-hand side, it's going to show you how much fluid is actually in the canister, which is 0 right now. It's really, there's not a whole lot of things on the screen. Like it's a reset volume that sometimes we do patient to patient. There's a canister light, which I don't know if we really want to do in an endo suite because it's not that pretty looking, but it is there in case you wanted to visualize how much fluid. There's a specimen trap. So up here, your suction is going to go in. It goes through the manifold and into the rover. So these are the specimen traps. I can kind of pass them around. How are you doing the specimen collection right now?
It looks very similar to this, but it gets attached directly to the scope and then the suction goes from there.
Yeah, okay. So this essentially is on this end of the suction line, essentially. So this gets inserted into your manifold. There's a little light that shows whether or not you've collected a polyp.
Whoa.
Yeah. So generally speaking, this tubing is way too long. But generally speaking, because it's on this end of the suction line, we recommend 3 to 6 feet suction tubing. I don't know if that's something you have on site, but we can always cut it.
I just probably at least 10.
The only reason why I say that is just because it can wreck the integrity of the pollen, just because it's going through the suction line and collecting on this end.
Interesting.
It's still probably fine in most cases, but the shorter, the more healthy the polyp is, if that makes sense. Less damage, yeah. So you go into your first case. These manifolds are patient to patient. Hey,
Hello.
how are you?
Good. How are you?
Good.
I'm just joining in last minute.
Yeah, come on in.
Sorry to make it up.
So the manifold is the piece that's single use. And the reason for that is because it has backflow valves, and we don't want to have any type of,
Cross-contamination.
Patient to patient.
So it's quite expensive.
These are $18 each.
The
The manifold.
traps or the whole manifold?
The whole manifold.
Okay.
Yeah, everything. The trap, so the way that they're purchased is actually in a box of 50 manifolds.
10 feet.
10 feet? Okay. Oh, we'll play around with it, make it work. But again, this is just the endo one. So in your main OR, 10 feet is more than okay. Like we can have longer if we want. It's just fluid, right? But from a user standpoint, it's very straightforward. There's these 4 buttons that are on the left-hand side. So like I was saying, this is measuring all of the fluid that's in your 8-liter canister in the rover. So that's going to slowly fill up throughout the day. The number at the bottom, that's showing how much fluid since the last reset. So what some hospitals are doing is they're resetting per patient just so that they can get an idea of how much fluid they're using. And so when you do that, you just press the reset fluid button, and there's only one button and it resets it. So the other 3 are for lights. So in the endo room, you can use the canister light if you wanted to. There's a specimen light that just illuminates where the trap is so that you can see if a polyp has been collected or not. And then oftentimes in the endo rooms, they're really dark, of course. So there's a surface light. And you can't really see it right now, but on the top, there's a light that shines here. And we found that the flat surface, as opposed to your main OR Neptune, the flat surface is nice because you can have your formalin jar, your patient chart, and it is a working surface. So it's almost, even though it does take up space, it's kind of like a little mobile desk. And honestly, that's it. Like, there's not a whole lot of fiddling that you have to do. When you're ready to actually start suction, you simply just press start suction, and then you can adjust by the knob here. So it gives you a little audible sound just when you're starting to get into the higher suction ranges. And that's basically it. So when you're collecting specimens, and again, this is particular to the endo one. You can keep the suction on. You're gonna pull out the trap door or the specimen trap. There is a door to maintain that vacuum. And dump it into your formalin jar. Usually what we're doing is we're having an extra trap, I keep it in the package though, because I think that over time, we're gonna get pretty quick. Like, you'll have your formalin jar, you put this in, slide this back in, hit the vacuum sealed again, and you're good to go.
So you can buy those traps separately as well.
You can.
Because I know they go through a lot of the tray part in those because people aren't always clean.
Right, totally.
So sometimes you have to throw them out or whatever.
Yeah, and I think that primarily when we're starting a case, you don't necessarily have to have the trap in right away anyway.
No,
Yeah, of course.
very similar to
Yeah, it is.
And I think that, like, you can reuse this in the same patient. Everything is, you can keep using throughout the same case, but we have to change the manifold patient to patient. One thing that I've been telling a lot of hospitals is that, unlike the canisters tap into like wall suction. So you're kind of at the mercy of what the pressure is like in the hospital. And if everybody is tapping in, then it obviously weakens. The Neptune itself, this creates the suction. There's always a little bit of fluid in there that creates the vacuum at the bottom of the canister. So the only thing that this relies on is an electrical outlet. What I mean by that is that without a manifold in, you cannot create suction. So if you ever are in a case, sometimes the suction is constantly going with the wall mount. Because you cannot have suction without a manifold in, there's a backup trap that's in the manifold. So you cannot lose a specimen because there's no suction that can be generated without a manifold. So this is kind of like a secondary trap. You do have to turn off the suction to remove the manifold and then access that polyp, but in theory you should never be losing polyps. So it's just a twist on, twist off. But for that trap, you do have to turn the suction on or off. For the front, like the actual tray, you don't need to turn the suction off. So that was a little warning just because the Neptune recognizes when a manifold is being used or not, or has been used in the past. So it just indicated that this is a used manifold because we were just using it at the beginning. So I can just clear that and then we're good to go. One thing that I didn't really explain was the docking process. So when we outfit hospitals, you obviously get the Neptune rovers, but there's also what we call a docking station. So the docking station is usually hooked up in a utility room somewhere, or some of the older hospitals will have a hopper like an old hopper that we'll tap into. Essentially, a docking station needs access to the sewage line, because that's where all of the fluid goes when we're done at the end of the day. A water source, because it cleans itself. And we have a little detergent bottle that we hook up with the docking station as well. So the way that this works is you would go about your day, slowly accumulate waste fluid. At the end of the day, or even in between cases, depending on how much fluid you're using, you unplug the rover and you wheel it over to the docking station. We're going to try to put it on the same floor as all of the suites. On the front, I don't know if you can see, but there's two, come on up. There's two magnets. So on the docking station, there's two magnets as well. So you wheel up the rover, there's a handle on the back, and you connect the two magnets, and essentially it's almost like a trailer hitch. The docking station goes and mates with the rover. There's buttons on the back. I'll try to spin this around so that you can see. You can't really see them right now, but they illuminate when they connect to the docking station. So there's three buttons here. The one on the left is for a 2-minute quick dump. Like, it basically just evacuates the fluid that's in the rover. The middle one is for a 5-minute quick rinse and evacuation as well. And then usually what we do on Friday afternoons after the week is a 45-minute extended wash. And so without you having to do anything, you connect it to the docking station. You simply press whichever cycle that you wanted to run. And like on a Friday afternoon, if you wanted to do that, you press the 45-minute extended wash, and it essentially evacuates all of the fluid. It recruits water from the water source, and then with the detergent, it's almost like a little sprinkler system. It goes up and cleans the whole canister, and you're good to go for, you know, the next day of cases. So most hospitals are doing 45 minutes on Fridays. Like it's up to you. There is, like, you can tap into the settings and see when the last cycle was done. I know hospitals have gone a month without doing a 45-minute extended wash. It's usually okay, but yeah, like with the endo ones, I would suggest doing that on Friday for sure. And then when it's finished with the cycle, there's another button that's on the right-hand side, and it's an eject button. So you just press that, and the docker just kind of, the magnets reverse, and it kicks the rover off, and you're good to go.
And we only need one docking station, right? Like
Yeah.
in the OR, and then you just cycle the.
Correct. So both the endo Neptune rover and the main OR Neptune rover, they all use the same docking station. We might actually put 2 in just because the distance is pretty far between endo and main.
And
But
they
yeah,
go
like-
through a lot of irrigation on some days
Right.
over there. So
Totally. Yeah, because they're running like 10
You
to
guys
15
might need to
cases
do a
sometimes,
quick
right?
dump over there.
they might have to at lunch, yeah.
Yeah. And so what the feedback that I've been, because the endo one is reasonably new. We've gone through 3 generations of the main OR Neptune, and so the ones that you would be getting is the Neptune 3. And I would obviously do an in-service for that one as well. There's other buttons that, like there's an extendable IV pull that you don't have to manually do. It's done by a button and increases gravity and things like that. But yeah.
It's gonna be the new scope
Yeah.
on the capstan.
Did you guys use a pump for?
Yeah, we usually use a pump, but then you have to like bring it down because they always
Yeah.
want it high, and then you're slamming it down to get another bag, and then you're lifting these 3.
Yeah.
Trying to.
Well, we do in the, like when I was
very
doing.
ergonomically sound.
Yeah. When I was doing the, because I used to work for Arthrex, I did joint replacement with Stryker as well. But when I was doing Arthrex, like I was in scope procedures all the time, and Neptune has been in pretty much every hospital that I've ever been to. And so the IV pull at the beginning of the case, depending on who the surgeon is and how much fluid they use, it has 4 hooks. We'll hook up 3 bags and then just elevate it all the way to the top. And then where it connects is usually within reach, but you can also just press a button and it lowers the IV pool. So